Hello and welcome to Tracy Momey Reads. Okay, I'm doing something a little different today. I am instead of sitting down, I'm here standing at my bookshelf, and I don't know like if I should be looking at the camera, if I should be looking at the screen. I mean, I don't know. It's really weird, but I'm going to try to do this video. So, what I'm doing today is while I'm here at my bookshelf, I'm going to do like a part 2 to something I did a couple of months ago. Well, maybe more than a couple of months ago, but it's 10 questions with the Booktuber, answering bookish questions. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the first question is paperbacks or hardcovers? And me personally, I mean, my bookshelf is like filled with both, so I'm not like a hardcover snob. They both, have their not good and bad, qualities with respect to their durability or their portability. The thing about hardcovers, I mean, they provide obviously a good aesthetic and they're more sturdy, but sometimes, these dust jackets, it's like, what's going on here? And, I've taken dust jackets off before when I've been reading or, traveling or whatever, and I have like a little stack of books down here. Have no idea what happened to the dust jackets. So yeah, that's the only thing sometimes that annoys me about hardback books. Paperback books, they're a lot more flexible with regard to making room in a bag, or if you can put multiple. Sometimes they bend or whatever, but they tend to get worn down a lot easier. But if I had to choose, I would still pick paperbacks over hardbacks because they're also a lot more affordable. But I like them both. The next question: love triangles, yes or no? It's so funny because I actually wrote a book about a love triangle. And it was just something that I was just trying to flex my creative muscles to see if I could do. I got some good responses from it. But it's not my favorite trope, not at all. Like, I love friends to lovers, enemies to friends, or enemies to lovers if I'm going to do like a romantic like book or something. But I prefer that there's just two people involved. There's not a choice to be made, like a team that you got to get on. I want two people, and as the reader, we're just waiting and hoping that they're going to get their shit together and realize that you're going to end up together. So, yeah. The next question is dog ears or bookmarks. I have a whole little jar of bookmarks here. So I am definitely pro bookmark. Um, Even if I don't have an official bookmark handy, I'll use like a receipt, a credit card, a business card. I never like fold my pages. These books cost too much money. I feel like that's kind of like defiling or defacing them in a way. Next question: one point of view or multiple points of view? I personally like multiple points of view, just simply for the fact that you get to like basically get both sides of the story as far as if they're like, for example, most of the time with one point of view, the character's making a lot of assumptions, and if you have a character that's not really self-aware, maybe they don't realize they're the problem. What you're reading. But if you get multiple points of view, you as a reader can also find out, well, why did he say that, or why did she do that, because the characters will clue you in as to their behavior. So I know sometimes as a writer, I feel like it's more challenging to write multiple points of view, but I also enjoy it. So I if the story is well written, it's well written, and I've read several singular points of view that were really good. But again, my preference, multiple points of view. Okay, drink of choice while reading. I don't necessarily have to have a drink. I mean, when I pick up a book, I'm not like, oh, let me open up a bottle of wine or put on a pot of tea. Most of the time, I may have water if I have anything at all. Okay, book you're glad you gave a chance. When I was in a book club, there was this book that was selected that I actually got from the library because at the time I was just like, what is this? This doesn't sound good. I don't know that I want to buy this. And I didn't buy it, but I do need to put it on my list. I'm trying to get the glare from the window there. But it's called Next Year in Havana by Chanel Cleaton. It was It was so good. I highly recommend it. It is a like a multi-generational family saga about this family that flees Cuba back, under Castro's rule, and like one of the granddaughters comes back present day. She's like tracing her family history, and she meets somebody or whatever. So it's kind of like love story, history lesson. It's just a lot going on, but it's so good. And it is a fiction story. Let me put that out there. But the author gives you so much detail and information about what was going on back then, when people were fleeing Cuba, because this family, I mean, they were well off and well known in Cuba, and they had to leave all that behind to come to the United States because of, the political landscape there. And speaking of landscape, the way that she writes about the beauty of Cuba and, with its lush landscape, it's really palpable, and the imagery is just really powerful in the book as well. So definitely glad that I gave that a chance. Okay, and the next question, a book you disliked that everybody else loved. The first time I gave in to peer pressure was for this book on Bookstagram. Oh my God, my feed was like overrun with people going on and on about this book, and I had FOMO. I was like, I want to be a part of the conversation. It must be really good. People are reading and talking, and even people who, had been pretty solid with some of their recommendations. But it was a no for me. Like, and I bought it just based on what other people were saying in American Marriage. And I don't know if it's because it was so much hype around it that it just fell flat for me. I mean, her writing, I have Silver Sparrow and The Untelling and enjoyed both of those books immensely. And the writing it was well done, but the story, I was like, really? Okay, no. I just didn't care for it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, longest book you've read. The longest book that I have read is this behemoth right here. The last book in the Twilight series, Breaking Dawn, 754 pages. Jeez Louise. And I actually read it because I was trying to, get ahead of the movie release. So I read all the pages, and it was extremely fast paced. So it didn't seem like it. I can't remember. I'm sure it took me a long time to get through it all. But now I like those kind of books scare me. Like, that's too many pages. I could read like 2 or 3 books by the time I read a book that long. So I don't know that I'd ever do something like that again. But that whole Twilight series, that was a whole, was it an anomaly maybe? Because I'm not into series. And typically that's not my genre, but I was sucked into the Twilight vortex at one point. So there you have it. Authors that you've met. And I will use this loosely, like to say that I met them, but I've gone to book signings and had books autographed and taken pictures with Eric Jerome Dickey and Pearl Cleage. And I went to a book signing with Elian Harris, but I didn't take a picture. And then Terry McMillan, oh my God, the line was like wrapped around the building almost to have her sign your book. But she did do a reading, whatever the new book was at the time, I can't remember. But I did take pictures of her from the audience because I did have really good seats. So I'm going to try to share those pics in. Okay, and the last question, your latest book purchase. My latest book purchase, Feeding the Soul by Tabitha Brown. If you don't know who Tabitha Brown is, you have been living under a rock. Okay? But, I want you to come from under the rock, because just like how bright this book is, that's Tabitha in a nutshell. That was a perfect color because she's like a whole ray of sunshine. She is an actress, now a best-selling New York Times #1 best-selling author. She's like a vegan goddess and a social media influencer who just kind of, her star just went out the stratosphere during the pandemic. She already had followers and people knew who she was, but not like now. Like, she is so well known and just so positive, such a positive ray of light. and just so authentically herself, and she's funny. And I think that if you aren't following her, you should definitely go to Instagram so you can see what I'm talking about. Maybe this will be the book that I review next week, who knows. But anyway, those are the bookish top 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to comment on some of the top 10 that I did, let me know if you prefer hardbacks or paperbacks. Do you dog ear your pages? Leave a comment below. And thank you so much to everyone who subscribes. And if you aren't subscribing, hit the button right now, right now, right now. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful week.